Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation, what is sensorality? Just continuing up, we found the natural definition of sensorality. It is not reduced, but definitely some big progress linguistically and physically. As always, syllabilicality is arithmeticality or arithmeticality. But again, saying we're going to generalize or derive through something more general than spelling. I mean, that is what we were demonstrating with these geometric relationships. Those are letters. But arithmetic includes putting syllables in order. Counting includes spelling. But structure is reinforced. So now we're back at this term where if you enforce the law, it's with an E, and then you have reinforce spelled with I-N. But then you just have enforce, I-N-F-O-R-S-C-E is not a word. Similar to incense, if someone's really irate or really angry, they get incensed. And it's just spelled like if you have incense, you're burning some aroma in your room. Again, just pointing out any logic that presents itself. What is counting to spelling? We just described that. Arithmetic is rhythmic. That is a natural definition. You can see the T-H-M-I-C right there. But that's, again, if you count music, right? A 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a, right? You're setting timing, right? So that's the, again, completeness of what arithmetic really means. It's literally built on rhythm. Syllabilicality is rhythmic. And so now we can state, again, a fundamental theorem. Again, this is more general than even just one part of ontology. But kind of connecting physics to mathematics in the purest of sense. But rhythm produces geometry, literally stabilized charged, that dichotomy, the emergent property of mass, but rhythm produces regularity. And so the shape that is literally formed by these things is because of how tight or how predictable, how regular, how periodic, or how regular the period is. And so rhythm produces regularity. Rhythm literally physically produces geometry, right? Squares and circles don't exist. Objects with discrete atoms, configurations exist, and then we model those perfectly with geometric objects. And so rhythm literally produces geometry. So that's a super theorem. And then I have rhythmic and then rhythmic with the two different spellings. They'll be on your screen. And so I wanted to return to that spicy theorem, but it's true. And it directly, again, where you're deriving the structure of language. And when you have a logical inconsistency, historically, right? We've derived why string theory, the terminology arises, and then what is it like? Is it an accurate mathematical theory? Again, the word theory at no point comes up in a derivation in a proof. I don't even know what that word's supposed to mean. Axioms make sense sometimes, but when you're outside and you're just showing fundamental consistency of geometric shapes that are letters, you don't even have axioms. It's more foundational than a sentence. And so the spicy theorem, but again, these big historical conundrums, like if that is the manifestation of you guys not understanding that words have meaning explicitly, they're naturally defined, and they have this dichotomy. And so the way you have, potential energy, in reality, energy is movement potential. We'll get here to a second, but energy requires space. And then this is literally, that theorem right there is 100 million % the entirety of what dark energy is like trying to encapsulate. Because what is dark energy? If you said, in layman's terms, what does it do theoretically? Like what conceptually does it band-aid in physical theory? People would say, the universe is expanding and at an accelerating rate. That's just wrong. Things are cooling down, and when things get cooled down, they contract. But that contraction, that recession, I mean, the data is the same as if it was, speeding up and going away. But then the more specific terminology is they'll say it's energy inherent to space itself, which is wrong. Energy requires space because the natural definition of energy is movement potential. And so that's precisely and exactly why that terminology of we need dark energy to account for the expanding universe And it's inherent to space itself, specifically that part, but in totality, we've encapsulated why that arises. And it's because energy requires space. You can't have the potential for movement if you don't have some sort of physical discrepancy, meaning distance removed from equilibrium. Big super facts. Nothing says bad vibes like dark energy. So now we've completed, again, the second lecture thing that I've presented, right here in the same room. But that is a big one. And so I just wanted to give it, there's a good place to give a shout out to Sabine Hasenfelter. Again, she's the great, she's gonna, put all the gobbledygook. Sabine, don't you remember Sabina, again, however you say your name, Guten Tag. Oh. But don't you remember when you tweeted at me on Twitter or X or whatever you wanted to call it and said energy density? We've just proven that the natural definition of energy is movement potential, right? So how do we have energy density? Brad, energy is related to mass. No, they're not. Energy is energy. Mass is mass, right? Einstein's equation doesn't say energy is mass. It says it's related to mass. But you can't have energy density, Sabine. How are you going to have energy? Where is it at? This thing is mass, which is really an emergent property from charge orbiting. So, where's the energy? Like I'm looking for numbers and I'm looking for words some out here in the empirical world, and I can't see them. I can vibrate my vocal cords to make sounds that you can understand, but where are the words? Where are the numbers? Where's this thing you call energy? I don't see it. But I'm still looking for that great rigorous definition, Sabine, of energy density. That should be a good one. Moving along. Syllabilicality, umbilical. And so again, preserving, finding other chunks of syllability where these things are used, right? I've never heard of syllabilicality. But you've seen the bilicality from an umbilical cord. And so just some connection there. Sensorality is umbilicality. Power is energy velocity. Energy is movement potential. If you said, Brad, what is the physics proper that sensorality resolves? It is that right there for sure. And then we'll get to the linguistic development here shortly. But that is the boiled down, some sort of, direct physics definition for sensorality, or something resolves directly from that. Power is energy velocity. Energy is movement potential. What is potential to power? Again, the units presented in power, joules per second, which is completely consistent with energy velocity. Energy, movement potential, velocity. Right, what is, again, something in here is going to have to directly relate. Velocity potential, potential velocity, velocity movement. No. Velocity contains change in distance. But again, we're not done yet, but we are very, very close, and we're going to get to the linguistics. But this is the physics proper that we're resolving, or something was like, this is definitely it. I even emailed it to Sean Carroll, great smart guy. Goes to which one is it? Johns Hopkins. Oh yeah, Johns Hopkins, great natural philosopher. But this is the direct physics. Power is energy velocity. Energy is movement potential. What is potential to power? Sensorality is energeticality. Work requires energy, right? When you wake up, I can get a lot done today, right? You have a lot of energy, feeling it. But work requires energy. What is potential to tendency? Sensorality works. Iterate those letters, generalize, drop the W. Sensorality is sorcality, right? Like Andrew Ross Sorkin. But again, logic is preserved in names. And so that is directly the physics. We definitely just solved all of dark energy. Rhythm produces geometry. This is a good episode so far. But potential is ability. Ability is capacity. Capacity is able. Sensorality is capacitality. Sensorality is indispensable. So this is the connection, another natural definition where it's directly iterated of sense. And it's, right, what is indispensable? Indispensability is essential, right? If it's indispensable, it is essential. We've once again renormalized directly linguistically. And as a natural definition, right, sensibility is essential, right? Common sense matters, right? Everyone kind of all argumentation is kind of like, that guy's stupid. He doesn't have common sense. That doesn't resonate with me. That doesn't make sense. So sensibility is essential, linguistically renormalizing. Indispensable is essential. Censorship dispenses, right? What is censorship? Dispensing. Sensorality is dispensorality. That is a natural definition, right? You can literally hear the consonants iterating. Sensorality, dispensorality. And we add one syllable. And that, again, the dispensorality, right, that's not a word, but it logically is preserved by, right, what is a dispenser, right? It's just that. But dispensing censors. And dispensing is a direct iteration of the complete word dip in sensing. And this is, again, the direct linguistic form, and why you have in Spanish disponible is directly that word form, directly. Right, to dispense something, is it available? In Espanol, lo es disponible. Sensorality is dispensary. And now again, we've just taken away that specifying article, right? A dispensary is well defined. We've integrated this linguistics directly in here, right? A dispensary is well defined, but sensorality is dispensary. Just take away the A. Censorability is dispensability. Sensorality is dispensabilitality. Yep. Dispensorality is dispensabilitality. It's another natural definition. And now we have, again, a direct iteration, extension, extendo-linguistics. A censor is a dispenser. And so we just take that. We've gotten, again, the DI is now in there, like dimension, dichotomy, distance, dilution, other dichotomy. I think I already said that one. But we are directly, this is a huge, massive episode. A censor is a dispenser. Dispenser, censor. And so, yeah, we are not finished, but again, that is that natural definition is, again, a connection to an iterated form of sensing. Dispensing is, again, and then we have the DI in there. We are ready to stabilize. And again, to the people actually, again, fraudulently stealing my research, my rights continue to be violated, you will literally feel the intuition that I have presented to you personally resolve. Because remember, words have meaning. That's the only thing we're demonstrating. I have senses that is spelled with an S. My microwave is not a sensor with an S. That is not consistent. That's like the spelling thing we're demonstrating. But that's with the inversion. I mean, that's a literal linguistic relationship by the letters, which are geometric shapes, relationships, even again, if I don't derive and articulate them. And then the direct physics proper that we are resolving, or the point we are at, as power is energy velocity and energy is movement potential. And then something within that work requires energy, which was kind of the resolution. But we are really close, and again, I don't care. It continues to be a profound violation of my rights. My life quality remains at 0. But huge, massive episode. We have 100%, again, derived and resolved why, when you, again, if you said what is the theoretical purpose, which is what dark energy would be, which is nothing. It's been nothing the whole time. They would actively tell you this is a placeholder for something we don't understand. The universe is not accelerating, it's contracting because things are cooling down. All right. No action is 100% efficient, so entropy increases. But we're just getting cooler, so it gets closer, contraction. And then, most specifically, dark energy is inherent to space itself. Wrong energy requires space. Science facts. So that is what I have for you tonight. Pay me some money. Put 2 zeros on my trading account. It is my money. It continues to be profound and extensive stress. It will not slow me down. It will not speed me up. My life quality will still not change. I will still not be public. I will still not be published. I will still not have any recognition anywhere. I will just not be miserable on a personal level. And then I will just keep making these videos, but finally get paid for the first time in my life, which has never occurred. And I've never been treated with dignity or respect. And it's profoundly disgusting. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.